In this vlog, we'll try to see the update of Android Studio. So the latest version Hedgehog is available for us to download. And if you have not got the download notification still, I would like to show you how to get started with this particular update. So here you can see the settings button. When you tap here, you can clearly see like download Android Studio Hedgehog is being displayed here, and we were getting a notification earlier here. And also, if you are not having this particular option, because this is a new theme which I have enabled, and if you are still in the old theme or older version of Android Studio, you can just tap on check for updates here. And in MacBook we can tap on Android Studio, and then we can find like check for updates. And if you are using Windows, you can just go through help menu and easily find the updates there. So once we tap on this check for updates here, you can find like a notification is popped up here, like update an option is provided. So when you tap on this particular update, then all the features like the latest features or improvements which were done in the latest version of Android Studio is being displayed here. And one more thing I want to suggest here is like whenever you are working on a real-time project for your companies, and I suggest you to once release the project, and once release the build to the Play Store. If you are about to release, then get started with this particular studio updates. Mostly it will not affect, but sometimes it might affect, because when you update the studio, then there might be some gradle level changes, and also Android version 34 is also available. So make sure you monitor all these changes and try to update it. And also, if you are going to update, just try to retest your entire application just to avoid any issues while you are publishing it to Play Store. So now here we do have options like ignore this update, remind me later, and download. So now we are going to download this, and we'll be redirected to that particular page. And also Android Studio Hedgehog we have also seen in our previous tutorial. So in this particular tutorial, I have shown you how the AI feature is being implemented in Hedgehog, but still I think the Hedgehog version is not more concentrated on this particular AI functionality. What I could sense is like in the next coming versions of Android Studio, you might get the improved version of Android Studio Bot. But also Studio Bot is being available here. So here you can see under the new feature section here, and try Studio Bot here. So we have done a detailed tutorial on how to configure the Studio Bot and make use in your application. So in this particular tutorial I have shown you clearly, and the link for this particular tutorial I am providing in the description section below. You can just visit it and try to observe how we made use of an Android Studio Bot, and also icon preview. And now I'm trying to download this particular Android Studio, and here you need to go through this particular agreement and check this particular option here, and you need to select. For me it's like a MacBook, so I got like two options, like with Intel chip or with Apple chip, but mine is like an Apple chip, so I'm downloading for this particular version. And if you're Windows, then you'll be automatically getting the option for you as well. And once the download complete, let's try installing it and try to check. And this is also the another reason why I said you, because you are downloading the entire file and installing it, and this might affect your current version of Android Studio. So try to make sure when you are working on the real-time projects, just don't try to install it at the time of app publishing, while the time you publish your application. So yeah, and you can also find like other features like compose design tools here. So if you're dealing with the compose design, then this particular version adds a very good inspection tools for you to design your compose layouts here, and intelligent code editor. And okay, in every version we were finding the code editors, like we were getting suggestions, but here they improved it, like it works like much more faster, and this will also help you in writing the code much more easier. Sometimes we get some delays while we try to write the code, so sometimes suggestions won't turn up, sometimes we need to restart the Android Studio. So all these things, I mean, improvements were done here. I will also provide you the playlist for the Android Studio below here in the description section below, where we try to install multiple versions of Android Studio, and you can just go through it if you're new to this particular Android Studio here. And now let's get started with the installation. I think mostly our application, our file is being downloaded now. And also SDK tools, here we have an option. So we previously installed Android Studio, so we will be continuing with the same SDK tools, and if there are any updates we can just make the updates. And also one more important issue addressed in this particular version of Android Studio is, whenever you are trying to update your current version of application to version 34, that is the latest version in Android, you will be provided with an update assistance. And you can, I mean, the way you update your application is also improved a lot here. And in coming tutorials we will also try to update one of our application to the latest version like 34 with the help of this Android Studio. If you just want to know the procedure, let me know in the comment section below. I will try to do a detailed tutorial on it. So here now I'm going to install the application, and it is asking like an older item named Android Studio already exists in this location, do you want to replace it? Okay, I'm going to replace it, and this is what the reason I said you once, because the operation can't be completed because the Android Studio is still in use. So let's try to close. So I've just closed my Android Studio, and now let's retry it, and I select replace. So here our current version of Android Studio is getting replaced here. And now let's try to see the new look of Android Studio and the new version of Android Studio as well. And here we can see like the latest version, like Android Studio Hedgehog is now opened up for us. And what's new, you can go through this particular documentation here, which provides you all the updates in this version of the Android Studio, and you can just try to test it yourself. And if you're facing any issues, just let me know in the comment section below. And device mirroring, this is one of the most important aspect which we got in this particular Android Studio version, and it will be much more helpful for us to easily mirror our physical device and try to use it in our application development process. And also those who are installing Android Studio for the first time here, and you might not be aware, like, and initially we used to install Java JDK on our system, and then we used to install Android Studio, and then we used to provide the path for Java in our Android Studio. But nowadays Java is being embedded as a part of Android Studio, and now you can make use of that particular Java version. Or if you want to specifically target a version of JDK, then also you have like so many options here. You can just make sure your particular version of Java and try to download it, or you can just select the already installed version of Java from your local PC here. And here I have already installed Java on my system in this particular location, so I am making use of that particular version. And sometimes you might face some issues in a few problems, like how to handle the Java version of your application. Just let me know in the comment section below. I will surely try to help you with those things. And also in this new theme, a lot of options are available as a part of drop downs here. So here on the settings you can find the SDK manager, project structure, settings, and everything here. And in the settings you can find the new UI option here. So I have enabled the new UI here, that's why I'm getting the latest theme. And if you are not feeling comfortable with this particular new UI, you can just disable it, and you can just make it apply. So it requires for you to restart, and once you can find your previous old way of Android Studio that you might be familiar with. But I suggest you to get started with the new theme, because in going forward, like Android Studio, the new theme might be a default theme. So you try to adjust with this particular new theme, and slowly you will be getting familiar with this particular version of Android Studio as well. Okay, so this is the quick update on the Android Studio Hedgehog. Hope you found it interesting. And for more interesting tutorials on Android and Flutter, do like, share, and subscribe to our channel.